It's not going.
Earn free crypto just by learning about it. Coinbase Earn is the fast, easy, and rewarding way to learn about cryptocurrencies like Compound, Stellar Lumens, EOS, and more. Simply.
Oh God,
Hi, welcome to the 2021 version of my big Streamlabs.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Can you hear me good, or does it sound like it's reverberating? Because this is kind of sort of my first time doing it like this, and I'm just kind of sort of really checking it out, to be honest with you. Does it sound like it's reverberating the audio, or does it sound good, Jeff? Because I tried this once and it really just reverberated. It didn't really sound all that great, to be honest with you. Oh, can you hear me, Jeff? Oh, it sounds clear? All right, cool. So it's not reverberating? It doesn't sound like an echo? Not amplified. Huh, I wonder if this is where... Alright, well, whatever. All right, well, regardless, I'm going to see if I can get this going and to see if I can fix it later on. But we'll see if we go about 20, 30 minutes or so. I'm going to see if I can just get going. Got my boy Jeff Haggard up in here. The good boy Jeff, what I'm talking about. Been knowing Jeff for quite some time. Going to start trying doing a morning show. I'm going to start calling it the Early Morning Hornet. It's something... title that was developed by me and my brother. But welcome to the Eyes on Texas show. This is the Early Morning Hornet. I am AK Alistair Ryan King, the owner, operator, and moderator of the Eyes on Texas channel. I've been doing this for just right around a year for you guys, and I'm trying to get it started out. I'm trying to do an early morning show, really trying to get the open and the opportunity to get going. But as I would like to be the viewers YouTube here on a daily basis here for you guys. But what I do have going for you is I do have some offensive lineman recruiting, as always, as I do like to talk about the big O-lines. We need those uglies up front. We need the big offensive linemen. We're bigging in on the defensive linemen, but we need to start on the O-line. We need to get those ugly guys in, and we need to get those commitments. So starting out with a couple of new offers, and where I do believe Texas is going when we're talking about the split out wide tight end position, the split tight end position. I don't know if we're really going in the inline box tight end really anymore. Haven't seen any of those offers coming out of the pike for the Texas Longhorns, but we are making these kind of sort of split wide accusations to the team, and they split wide commitments and offers out. So we have already had Arlis Boardingham into the fold as far as offering a split wide tight end. I'm just going to let you know a little bit about Arlis. I did make a video about Arlis just a few days ago. But is Arlis Boardingham the next Jatavion Sanders? And of course, if you don't know who Jatavion Sanders is the 5-star commit from Denton Ryan in the class of 2021. He is a dual threat athlete as he plays split wide tight end for the Texas Longhorns, and he is going to line up in defensive end. So he plays a defensive end role, and he plays an offensive split wide end, tight end, the kind of sort of position that we're going to be talking about today. So is Arlis Boardingham the next Jatavion Sanders? Well, he does play flex tight end and rush end from his high school in Van Nuys, California. I'll let you all know who I am talking about here when I'm talking about Arlis Boardingham. I'll put him up here. Boom. Is this Arlis? Boom. Yeah, this is Arlis right here. Arlis Boardingham. I'll put him up in the live chat here for you guys. As he is an athlete prospect, as he's 6'4", right around 220 pounds, as you can see. And he is listed as an athlete prospect because they don't know if he is going to play split out wide as a tight end or if he is going to play wide receiver. Does play some rush end as well. But from my personal opinion, from what I've seen in Arlis and what most of everybody else have seen from Arlis, most of his upside is going to be on the offensive side of the ball and going to be as a split wide tight end. But with that being said, let's talk about these offensive totals. He did record 24 receptions in this shortened season as he did only play in 6 games. He recorded 24 receptions for 450 yards and 6 touchdowns. Man, that's moving the ball. That's moving the chains at a clip of 18.8 yards per reception. That's pretty good if you're getting a guy right around 20 yards a clip. With that being said, he did have a defensive side of the ball. He does play rush end on defense. He did record 21 tackles. Of those tackles, 8 were going to be for a loss and 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble. Remember, man, this is only going to be in 6 games, not a full season, as he did play out there in California, which we did have just a shortened spring season. So Arlis Boardingham will be on campus for an official visit. I'm showing him down for, I'm showing Arlis Boardingham. Sorry, I don't want to call him Boardless for some odd reason, but Arlis Boardingham is going to be on the 40, making a visit on the 40, June 24th. So, versatility, he also shows versatility in the return game. In this shortened season, he did get a couple of scores on the return game as he got 1 kick return and 1 punt return during this short season. But this is coming off his sophomore year, which he was productive as a sophomore, totaling 1,225 yards, 14 total touchdowns, and he did get 80 catches, man. And on that sophomore year, he did play on the defensive side of the ball as well, recording 49 tackles. So the question at hand, is Arlis Boardingham the next Jatavion Sanders? No, I see his upside pretty much being in the flex tight end. I see Denton Ryan's own getting the run at 2 different positions. I see him starting out in the flex tight end position. Talking about Denton Ryan's own, the already incumbent one, going to be on the 40 acres, but going to be a freshman this year. Talking about Jatavion Sanders, I think he's definitely going to get a run on both sides of the ball, starting out of that split out wide position. But Arlis Boardingham, I only see him as an offensive side of the ball. Only see him on the offensive side of the ball when it does come to his collegiate commitment, when it does come to his collegiate output. But Arlis Boardingham is not yet committed to the good. He does have that official visit set to on the 24th of June. I did put up on the note there that he is crystal balled to the Texas Longhorns by Nick Harris and Mike Roach. So my boy Mike Roach and Nick Harris have the confidence score of 6 on Arlis Boardingham becoming a Texas Longhorn. But moving on from Arlis Boardingham, we'll be talking about another Texas Longhorn, a new recent offer that we just did put out just down the pike. And just a few days ago, might have been yesterday to be honest with you. Is this him? Yes, this would be this individual. He's going to be coming from Michigan, man. And University of has yet to offer this individual, as he's been a bit unknown, to be quite honest with you, as he's not ranked as of yet. Of course, you probably see him up on the screen there. His name's Tommy Mcintosh. I believe he is still listed as a wide receiver. He's a big wide receiver. Let's see what kind of body that does develop into. But he is going to be 6'5", right around just above 200 pounds, as he is nationally listed right now. But I said he is a 3-star, not nationally ranked, so he's not number 122 or 1224 like these 3-stars tend to be. But he is a high riser. And when I did watch film on Tommy, when I did watch that film, I did notice that the quarterback play is a bit suspect. The route tree is a bit suspect. But the athleticism of Tommy is 100%, and it's 100% real. What I do like about Tommy is that he is a Mr. Go-Get-It kind of sort of player. He has shown he's Mr. Go-Get-It tendencies for the jump ball, as that's basically what he gets up there for DeWitt, as his quarterback is a bit late on the throw, not all that accurate, so they tend to be jump balls. They did display a couple of stop routes, which he did, in fact, round off. But I'm sure the 7-on-7 and camp circuit is where he's making this high rise, where the athleticism is being dealt on display. So Tommy Mcintosh, he is a class of 2022 athlete, not yet rated. Let's see where it does develop. Let's see where this does, in fact, go. But that's going to be what I got as far as the new offers, where I see is coming down the pipe. As Tommy Mcintosh is a very new offer by the Texas Longhorns. Don't know if he is going to grow into that split-out wide position or is going to be an X-receiver for us. Going to be that possession receiver for us. But we are really not looking for any kind of sort of possession receiver here at the University of Texas, as we're looking for burners across the board. Holla at your boy. Coach Stark and Sarkeesian is all about all gas, no brakes, and all gas, no brakes does, in fact, include that speed, baby. So is Arlis Boardingham going to be the next Tavion Sanders? No. What about Tommy Mcintosh? Possibly going to be what we're looking for as far as this flex tight end or this X wide receiver in the Texas offense. All gas, no brakes. I don't know what exactly he is going to grow up to be, but what he is going to grow up to be is going to be an interesting prospect, talking about Tommy Mcintosh, because 100% the athleticism is legit. So we're just going to be moving on, talking about some offensive line recruiting, somewhere I believe that the Texas Longhorns have been lacking, and definitely in the class of 21, as we only had 2 offensive linemen on that commit. Both were going to be 3 stars. One of them is going to be a project. That's going to be Max Merrill. And then Hayden Connor, definitely going to be a good time prospect. Might be a primetime player, but many believe he did play his best football. His frame did fill out a little bit more than most people did think that it would in high school, i.e. when he was 13, he was a big old kid. And when he graduated at 17, 18 years old, he was still that big old kid. So he has had time to grow and develop in that frame, and possibly get the legs and the arms and the limbs to catch up with that big body. Gonna get everything matched up there. But when I do talk about offensive line commitments, when we're talking about offensive line in the class of 22, where are we at right now? This is what Texas does need to do for offensive line success. 2 things that we do need to do is, first thing we need to do is we need to develop the talent that we have on hand, guys. We have 9 4-star recruits on the offensive side of the ball and on the offensive linemen, and that we need to develop them. And that is what we need to do. Those 9 that we do already have on the 40. So here we go, remove this. Boop. That we do have on the 40, those are the guys that we need to work with. Those are the guys that we need to work with on hand. Those are the ones that are already committed. Those are the ones already eating our hamburgers. Those are the ones already pushing our weights. And those are the ones that are going to be already attending the classes at the University of Texas. So those are the ones that we need to be focusing on first, in my personal opinion. But with that being said, Jalen Garth, man, he is only a sophomore, already on 40, already on campus, need to work on that 4-star recruit. Isaiah Hoofkin, also a sophomore, also a 4-star former recruit, need to definitely nurture and grow these offensive linemen and nurture them and develop them into great talent. One of the things about Coach Herb Hand, as he could cook a mean brisket, could smoke some good Q, but man, recruit some offensive line, not necessarily going to be what he can do for the Texas Longhorns. Not really know what he's known for. That's why we kicked him to the curb, and then we did get, in fact, Coach Kyle Flood for the recruiting and the developmental side of the ball for this Texas Longhorn team. But moving right along to incumbent Texas Longhorns that are already on the team. Man, we got Jake Majors, going to be a sophomore, probably the best offensive lineman on campus. And if we do nurture, we do develop, he does eat some good hamburgers, and if he does push some good weights and learn from the coaches and listen to Coach Kyle Flood, I see him being a first-round draft pick in the future, coming off a couple 2-3 years. Out of all the offensive linemen that we do have on the 40, I do see Jake Majors as being the best offensive lineman with the most potential to be drafted, and that's going to be the goal. If we're not getting these big-time players, if we're not getting these prime-time players, they're not going to be drafted, and we will not be continue to get these 4- and 5-star players. It's been, I think, over a decade since the University of Texas even have a first-round draft pick, and as far as offensive linemen, we've had a couple of good offensive linemen be drafted in the last couple of years, one by the Cowboys, and we did, of course, have Sam Cosmi drafted this last year in the second round, but we need to bump up the second rounders to first rounders in order to start winning them titles and to start competing for national championships, which is going to be the goal. And starting up front, without a doubt, it's going to be starting out with these big uglies, man. So my personal opinion, Jake Majors is going to be the best one that we do have on the 40. Coming up, Andre Carrick from South Lake Carroll. He's going to be entering his second year on the program, going to be a sophomore, I do believe. Probably going to be our second best offensive lineman as well. But Tyler Johnson going to be another offensive tackle body that we could develop, that we need to develop on the 40, in my personal opinion. But those are the guys that we do have on campus on the 40 that have already been in the program, pushing our weights and eating our hamburgers. So those are the guys that we do need to look for and nurture and develop first, in my personal opinion. But let's see what else we do have. But talking about the second thing we need to do to fix the offensive line, the second biggest thing, we need to recruit. We need to get these big hog mollies up front, and we need to get them going. And let's talk about the guys that I do, in fact, think the Texas Longhorns have the best potential of landing, right? So let's just start putting these guys up on the screen, and I'll start talking about them. Don't know exactly what order they are going to come up, so let's just bear with me now. Oh, sorry, this is Mr. Mcintosh again. Oh, no, we don't want Mr. Jordan Thomas. I like Mr. Jordan Thomas, but we don't want Mr. Jordan Thomas up here. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, sorry. So Kelvin Banks. So when I'm talking about 5-star recruits, when we're talking about offensive tackle bodies, whenever we're talking about players that we need to get, man, this is one of them. When it comes to elite offensive tackle recruiting in the class of 2022, I think it basically comes down to 2 guys that we do have an opportunity to get. One of them is going to be from Summer Creek, Humboldt, Texas. Kelvin Banks is a nationally recruited, nationally recognized 5-star player. Without a doubt, someone that we do need to get into the fold. I believe that Texas is going to get 1 or 2 of these prime-time top performers from the offensive tackle position. One of them being Kelvin Banks, and the other one is going to be Cam Dewberry. We'll talk about Dewberry here in a second. But nationally rated as a 5-star recruit, number 3 in Texas, number 3 overall, and number 6 in Texas, talking about Kelvin Banks, someone that we would need to get into the fold. I believe when it comes down to this individual, that it's going to be a either-or situation when it comes down to Kelvin Banks. And will he commit to the Texas Longhorns? Will he be here on the 40? I'm not quite sure. But of the major 5-star players, of the top offensive linemen that we do have coming in, he is going to be the one I would like to have into the fold without a doubt. That's Arlis, Boardingham. So someone else definitely that we're looking to put into the fold. This is going to be one of the newer offers that we did. Oh, this is Banks, actually. Yep. So another one that we're going to get is Cam Dewberry. When I was talking about either or players, I believe this is going to be the guy that we are going to get from the offensive tackle position. He is nationally rated as a 4-star, 222, as the ratings did just change. He was nationally like 178 just a few days ago, but whatever. Everything is liquid. Everything is always changing. Everything is always ever forever changing. My dad told me one of the most consistent part of life is change. So with that being said, so is this number ranking, but it doesn't really matter because he can still dip. He can still reach you from across the room with those big, giant, long arms. He can still move from side to side. Still a mean dude up in the trenches. Cam Dewberry, would love to have him on the 40, but it comes down to top offensive line talent. From the tackle position, I do believe that Texas is going to land at one of these two, but more than likely not both, unfortunately. It'd be great to get them both, but what can you do? All right, so this is going to be one of the offensive guard positions that I do believe that we are going to land, that we do have one of the best chances of landing. I'm sorry, that's a better way of saying it. Talking about Connor Robertson, he is going to be an offensive guard prospect. I do believe it might say tackle on there. Nope, he has moved to officially an offensive guard prospect. He is going to be a 3-star prospect coming from Austin Westlake Hills. He has been crystal ball for some time for the University of Texas. And others battling out for his recruitment. Probably our biggest adversary on here is going to be the tree down there, Stanford Cardinal. Whenever the Stanford Cardinal coming from offensive linemen and for tight ends, it's hard to pull them away as they produce the tight ends in the NFL. Along the same lines as what the University of Texas can offer as far as education, but a lot of students, a lot of student athletes that are looking to go the student athlete route do tend to side just with Stanford over the University of Texas. But with that being said, those are going to be the two formidable foes bidding for his collegiate respect that are going to get that signature on the sign on the dotted line. For Connor Robertson, it is going to come down to Texas, USC, and Stanford, with Texas leading the way. But with that being said, after these visits start coming out, I do believe Connor Robertson probably going to be a new addition to the Texas Longhorns in the class of 2022. Hopefully, man. Hopefully we can get him in the fold. Is this going to be the big boy? Yep, so this is going to be one of the offensive tackles, our second offensive tackle commit that I believe that we will get. He is a recent offer for the University of Texas. He's a big offensive line offer. When I mean big, I mean big. This boy's 6'6", 6'5", 360 pounds already. He is looking to slim down that frame just a little bit as the weight has been kind of sort of an issue. But the lateral movement, the side-to-side movement, and the athleticism is real. 100% on Cameron Williams, as he is coming from Duncanville, Texas. If you don't know anything about that D-ville, if you don't know anything about that Duncanville Panther program, it is enriched with talent. Omi Arbor coming out of there. We already did have, in fact, JQJ, who did commit to the Texas Longhorns, sign that dotted line, and just like many others did, in fact, go up north to Utah. So the university, Duncanville, has been good to the University of Texas, but we need to keep that pipeline going. And Cameron Williams, amongst many, many others, is someone else that we do need to keep an eye on. But he is visiting the campus, I believe, June 18th, maybe June 24th. But in June, without a doubt, whenever these athletes are able to make these moves, whenever they are able to make these visits, is going to be a big time, and that's coming up soon. So Cameron Williams is going to make an official visit to the Texas Longhorns. He is going to make an official visit, a primetime player who I would love for us to have. Does need to shed a little bit of that body, does need to shed a little bit of that weight, but man, that doesn't really matter because once we get him into our program where he's eating our good hamburgers, lifting our good weights, we'll see how we can shape and mold that body firmly and properly. But man, that's really all I got this morning for you guys. This is just a test run. I did want to test out the old my son's earmuffs or whatever, just so it doesn't sound like a reverberation for you guys. But I'm going to test this out. I'm going to listen to the audio quality, and I am going to check it out. But if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do, man, as I am going to try to get this early morning horning show definitely going in the fall. whenever I do have time to produce it on a regular, consistent basis. But that being said, I appreciate y'all guys being in here. Whoever does watch this video, who did watch this live stream, I will produce it, mass produce it, and put it out on the web on the channel. With that being said, keep your head in the swivel and your horns always up.